See Eddie?
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, because that's the only thing to sing, just because I seen your resolution there in there. Was that the May or June?
So you guys
It sticks right to it, right?
Set that on.
do Board of Works.
No, I have no idea.
No, neither one of them.
So how you doing today? Good?
How about utilities? You guys feel like selling that?
Yeah.
Yeah, come stop by and see us.
Nice. Nice shirt.
Thank you.
That's what.
I'm right behind the mayor.
You guys have
I'm right there on the side too. I see me too. Yeah, right there. I'm on your left side, and my son's right there in the front, right there too.
Oh.
I don't know. No one told me. I just heard it was canceled, postponed, canceled. Yeah, I didn't get an explanation. I think I did hear. Wait a minute, let me think a minute. I think someone did say that the parties haven't reached an agreement on it. I don't know.
Well, where were you?
Where were you? Yeah, I was too when they told me it was postponed. I said, good, I'll go mark it on the notice.
Oh.
So I did.
Good here a second.
Nobody really gave any big explanation.
Disappeared. Oh, there it is.
Well, but you know, this is June. We got 3 months. There's 3 months before he retires. I don't know. They don't tell me much. I just live in my la-la land. Do my job and go from there.
Have to use your oak tree for that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's neat. You have to click on here. Do you know?
Yeah.
What do you need to click to open?
Just cleanse.
What's he doing?
Daniel had a DVD and asked me if I had a laptop.
I see. Yeah, she got the whole DVD of the meeting when we talked about rates.
I was over in Kentucky because we went, my son has 8th grade graduation,
Oh,
and after that we went to,
I don't see where.
Oh, yeah, okay, I know. I think I know which one you mean. Where's that? Florence?
Right at the mall where Sears is.
Oh, okay,
I
yeah.
think it used to be,
Have him pull it up and
Oh, I don't know. Okay.
but I was over there
Yeah.
coming, she told me. Not for twins.
Depending on how they do it. But these will all be on council.
Obviously, Mario, you don't know how to do it.
They thought I was crazy.
I know.
If you click on twins, this is not mine. Oh boy. With this screen then.
She should have put it under old business too. Because this will be counting. We need to go through it with her.
Get off it. What's going on there?
Now go to computer,
You technicians ready?
DVD.
Where's that? Right there?
Yeah. It's loading.
I'm gonna start the meeting. You two ready? I don't know what
It's not for this meeting, so.
not for this meeting. We'll start the meeting. Call this meeting to order. Parks meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Member Jane Pope.
Present.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Bill Bruner.
Here.
Member Mike Lawrence.
Here.
Member J.R. Holcraft.
Here.
Attorney Leslie Votaw.
Here.
Utility Director Mel Davis.
Here.
Mayor Carr.
Here.
And myself.
Any announcements?
Yeah, I got several, Mayor. I don't know if they're announcements or questions, but they have to do with the parks, but, the first one is, I got a complaint on the, Todd Creech Park restrooms about 2 weeks ago, and I contacted the Parks Department, and they said that's not their responsibility, so I don't know, who I should contact for that.
What's the complaint?
They were dirty.
What day?
I'm not really sure, to tell you the truth.
Sundays, we're not sending
It
anybody
wasn't a
out.
Sunday, because there was baseball games going on, so it was probably a Thursday or Saturday.
Could you give me a date on there and a time, and I'll find out about it?
I can find out, but who should I call about that in the future?
Brad,
Brad, okay. Lollies about that park over there. Whose responsibility is it to paint the home plates white? Because, I guess they used to paint them white, now they're not painting them white.
paint,
The home plates white?
they're doing it with, chalk now. It's, Lions are doing it,
The Lions?
yeah.
So no one's gonna paint them white anymore then?
They're doing it with chalk.
Okay.
We're cutting down on the overtime.
Okay. And then, and then someone told me the Lions are supposed to do a few of these things, so I contacted, a few of the Lions members that's over there, and they said they agreed to paint the lines and rake the brick dust, during the day, but, nobody is dragging the field,
They're putting a lawnmower with a drag over for them to drag it.
starting now, or,
But I told,
all the Lions are supposed to do it?
I told the foremen, last week,
Okay. So it'll be start getting done then?
they're supposed to. yes.
Okay.
Hit by who?
So by the
By Lions
parks.
Club.
All by Lions, because I asked them if they could do it, and they said, they all have full-time jobs, they can't be
The
doing it.
head guy asked me to do it, and I said, go ahead,
At the Lions?
yes.
Okay, who's that? Do you know his name? So I can tell him.
Jamie Chase, I think his name
Okay.
is.
Because all these people are, running me in different directions, so I just want to get it straight, I'm talking to the right person. And then, the same park, Todd Creech Park, the pavilion over there, the trash cans that are the permanent ones, I guess they called the Parks Department, and, the foreman told them that to have someone else do them, like people that's not even employed by the city or the Lions. I don't want to say any names, but just someone off the street, have them empty them, it's not
They
their.
asked about that, on Saturdays, they come in at noon, the Parks Department does, and clean
Okay.
things. The Lions Club will start, they used to empty them, but not all the ones all the way through the park now.
Yeah, these
The
are
ones
the-
around the building stuff, they empty the.
Yeah, this was the permanent ones that's in the pavilion, is the ones that, were overflowing, I guess.
We could have them start emptying.
The Parks Department?
The Parks Department does at noon. So,
Okay.
and they go in at noon on
Okay.
Saturday.
Okay, noon on Saturday?
They go in at noon on Saturday and they get out at 2 o'clock on Saturday, and 2 hours is not enough time to cover all the parks and
Yes,
empty
it
all the
is, too.
garbage cans.
Yes, it is. But we put bigger garbage cans there.
I guess they had some games over there at one point, and it was overflowing on the ground, and people that, not Lawrenceburg teams, but other teams were complaining about how nasty it was and stuff.
Well, we can have Lions Club police themselves too. They should be.
And, one person called me about it, a few people emailed me about it. I guess there's a gap, in the gate on the small dog side where the small dog can run out of the gate. They can get out. Is there anything we can do about that?
Mario, want to take a look at that?
Readjust the gates.
Yeah, I guess the small dogs can just run through this and run out. And then, I don't know if I should bring it up now or later, but on the council agenda, the Lawrenceburg All-Stars are requesting a sponsorship, but they want to raise money themselves as well, and they want to have a permission to use the water hookups at that park over there to have a car wash this Saturday. I want to see if the board.
Bring it up now.
Okay.
Bring it up.
And I want to see if the board would approve that. So,
No problem with
You
it.
think the board,
I'll make a motion to allow the,
a second?
Foster.
Second.
the Lawrenceburg All-Stars this Saturday for a car wash and use the water hookup.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it.
And, I believe that's all, Mayor.
All right.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes.
Just one thing I want to announce to the to the Parks Committee. We did get the Value
Speak up,
engineering.
please. Speak up.
The value engineering completed for the Ratliff Landing camp area. I've got two options. I know before, we said that we would do that and have a work session to go through them and get your feedback. Would you guys like to go ahead and set up a work session so we could do that?
We could also add the Boy Scout cabin on that as well, because we kind of want to get some direction from the board on how to handle that
Okay.
too, so.
When do you wanna do that, Mike?
It's up to this board's discretion.
How soon as far as the Boy Scout cabin, do we need one? Is there any,
Now, I can just give him, a couple days' notice, ask somebody in attendance.
okay.
Wanna make a date? Anybody?
Well, we could just
This week,
call it
next week?
a special meeting on the 23rd. I mean, Parks doesn't normally, but we could call a special Parks meeting on the 23rd. Is that's when the council meeting's?
No, it's the 16th.
Well, I moved to 23rd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's out of town. So the 23rd.
Do it at 5? Didn't take that long, should it?
Should it take that long? Do you need an hour or a half hour? Or?
Better than an hour, you never get anything done in a half hour.
No more than an hour.
Clark and Mario are in charge.
Do it at 5 o'clock on the 23rd?
5 o'clock.
And then the rest of the meetings will be on the 23rd, too, city council.
No, yeah.
Oh, you're gonna move all of them? Okay.
I'll try to have a contract ready for that so you guys can review it.
Don't know.
Unless we get a draft, I can send to the Boy Scouts prior to that.
Sure.
Yeah, like I said, on 23rd, I'm gonna move all the meetings to
The
The 16th, 23rd.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Any more announcements? Go ahead.
Yeah, Your Honor, I received a phone call from Mrs. Childers that used to have the George Street Park property. She thinks we may be in breach of the agreement we had about using that property. We haven't put the plaque up yet that dedicates it to her mother. I'd like to know when the status of that dedication would be.
I also had a phone call from Peggy Childers, and I also had a phone call from Joyce Childers. They're very unhappy with the original agreement, and I think they are going to contest the original agreement because the original agreement wasn't followed to the specifications that they asked for. And she's working on that, I'm working on that, and she does not want the park dedication to be done until the park is done correctly. And she said the park's not even actually on her, I guess it was, I want to say Maggie Childers.
Helena Childers?
Maggie?
I'm talking about a great-grandma way back
All
when.
that I do not know.
What Maggie was originally on it, yes.
Maggie.
What happened was there was a tax sale. I don't think they understood at least this is from what I.
Well, I think she's talking about actually the physical park property.
Oh, okay. There was a tax sale though that we got a call about to begin with. It wasn't transferred to begin with because there's a year for those people to redeem it. That redemption period was the end of 2013. The tax deed has been filed, so the city of Lawrenceburg does own that property now, so, just for the record, but,
She indicated that she thought the swing sets or whatever the physical play apparatus would be sitting on where the house actually was at.
Correct, that's what she told me too.
Well, I mean, the original agreement doesn't spell out, the placement of the,
Wasn't there a committee
correct,
put together?
correct.
Well, I won't go into any detail, but I do need to talk to Mrs. Votal about it. I think the whole thing was handled wrong by I was here at a meeting, I think it was in 2011, when Mr. Votal was our city attorney, and he agreed to take the property back for back taxes. That would be,
Total of $1,200 on it, $1,287, I believe.
and that would be more appropriate than paying off the 13 heirs of the property, because the 13 heirs would be too hard to look up. I shook my head then, I'm shaking my head now.
Well,
So how,
the transfer has already happened as far as the property, but the reason it's taken so long is because there is a redemption period that we couldn't get a tax deed until, like I said, I think it was December of 13 or November of 13. But that has been transferred, so.
why did it take so long? Why couldn't you just outright buy that property from them instead of waiting for
Not sure why they did the
the
tax.
tax default?
I don't know why the tax was done that way, but I just know, like I said,
I think that's board that at that time voted to have it done that way.
okay, that's very possible. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know why we did it through the tax sale, but that has all been done. And as far as.
And I have the minutes and the DVD of that meeting too. And, the two Childers ladies are gonna further investigate. I know your heart was in it when you did what you did, but, they're not happy with,
Well, we just did with the committee or the board that was appointed,
well,
wanted done.
some of the committee members that I've talked to were very satisfied with the outcome of the George Street Park. Some of them weren't. Some of them expected a full basketball court and a small basketball court for the children. Another thing that upsets the two Childers ladies, which we're waiting on LCD, is they don't like the water coming in there. And they asked me, when is that gonna be fixed? I don't know. Mr. Seitz has said many times he doesn't know, but it's being looked into. So, as far as a plaque, setting up a date and a time for a plaque, we probably need to discuss all this with Joyce and Peggy first.
Mario, you want to get involved in that too?
Well, the plaque is, as you.
It's made. I've
Correct.
never seen it, but you told me it's
Yeah.
made.
You want to get with them?
Yeah, if Jane wants to spearhead it up, she can just give me a call if you want to put together a
What's going on
meeting.
with this? All right, moving on. Approve minutes, previous meeting.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, yes. Committee reports. Have none. New business, Leslie Votal, amendment to ordinance, amendments to chapter 90 of Lawrenceburg Code of Ordinances.
I did bring this back in front of you as the Parks Board. These were the changes you had requested concerning, the, consumption of alcohol and also adding the bullying and profanity section. I don't thi-
Leslie, I read it and I'm very satisfied with it, but why couldn't you have retyped it up and instead of putting lines through words, just delete the words?
I'll make sure that that's done, Jane, but, this was just, we just put it back in there from last meeting. If you remember, I had it in front of you and then realized that we didn't have parks that night, so. And Connie did not put it on the council agenda, so in your motion, I would ask that you, if it is good, to pass it on to council with a favorable recommendation.
Isn't it, it's amendment to ordinance title 9 to amend, it's on there.
No, that's Title 5, which has to do with the,
Oh, 5.
yeah. That's the utility.
I'll make a motion to move it on to council with a favorable.
Your second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
First Amendment to Speedway lease.
And I did hear back from Mr. Rudisell on this, and he signed it. If you remember, this was in lieu of giving him the $22,000 sponsorship. Basically, his rent payments, and Suzanne's already figured all those out, And then once the abatement has expired, he would resume making the rent payments per Section J of the Speedway lease agreement.
Any questions?
I move that we accept the amended agreement.
There's a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it. Any old business? Review and discuss claims board approval. Second?
Second.
I did.
I'm sorry, thank you, Bill.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion adjourned. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Board of Works, 5 minutes.
He's got to text how to do it, so he's going to take it back.
How's Miss Jackie?
Oh, Jackie's fine. She has to be. So I have to be. I got a stiff neck. I've done something to it. I don't know what.
I know.
I'll have to be fixed.
On the chest there.
You don't feel this? That's real
I'll
bad.
take you
I
for the
wasn't
cakes
puking
this
or anything
evening.
like that.
I'll keep
It's
Sarah
been down
the
for
cakes.
3 days.
Right.
Worse than the
That will not kill them.
I pulled your batteries out or something. I didn't feel right.
Just pass them out to
I was at the hospital.
Oh, it was great.
On
Thank
Sunday,
you.
they kept doing my blood pressure.
It was great.
We had all kinds of goodies this morning.
Breaking up.
Or maybe that's something to do with high blood pressure. 'Cause then when we got checked on Friday, it was down to 130. They couldn't get it down below 170.
And that makes a lot of sense.
You don't take meds, do you? Blood pressure?
Yeah.
I do.
I know, I probably will. My mom does too. It's a lot of people say we do.
Statins for cholesterol.
My cholesterol was high last year, so a few months before I went to get my cholesterol checked, my yearly checkup this year.
Exercise.
I haven't been lately, but
You guys ready?
last year I was.
Call the Board of Works meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Member Donnie Bryant.
Present.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Bill Bruner.
Here.
Member Mario Todd.
Here.
Member Mayor Carr.
Yeah.
Assistant Police Chief Mike Lanning. Present. Fire Chief Johnny Germain.
Here.
EMS Director Bobby Mills.
Here.
Attorney Leslie Votaw.
Here.
Utility Director Mel Davis.
Here.
And myself.
Any announcements? Yeah, we'll move the next Board of Works meeting to 23rd to the 16th. Approved minutes previous meeting.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Committee reports. Fire Department, Chief John Tremaine.
Everybody should have my report handed out on the runs for May. We had a total of 48. And then I also added, they did 16 business inspections and pre-plans and inspected 8 car seats. Been busy the last couple weeks. Last week in particular, we had fire pump training and the fire suppression training over at the event center. Very informative. Our next deal we're going to do is do some actual flow rates with our hoses and stuff on the 9th floor, so within the next week or 2. We did get the decon trailer. Jackie got the license plates and everything for that insured, so that's ready to go on the road. That's been kind of a drawn out project. and we start our physical agility testing next week, so that's all I have.
Thank you. Police Department, Mike Lanning.
No report, Mayor.
EMS Director Bobby Mills.
So Mayor, just to remind the board that the EMS has finished the transition course for paramedic. And,
Talk up, please.
pardon me?
Talk up, please.
Talk up, please.
All right, smart butt. Into the microphone, please.
Okay, Lawrenceburg EMS has completed the transition course to paramedic level. Now, next phase is testing.
You already had one pass?
We did have one pass, she's taken the test yet, so we do have one paramedic. Hopefully more than that, but don't, we'll just have one for 3 more years.
Very good.
But anyway,
Very good, Bobby.
we're on the right track. Just
Yes, we are.
give us time to get there, but we will get there. Most of them will.
It's a big plus for the people.
It's been a tough road.
Thank you for doing it.
Thanks.
Okay. Any new business? D. Abbott, pool mission, active military.
What about Carl?
She's not here.
He actually has some.
I'll do him. You'll be done, council. That's when
No,
you're
that's
done.
right. You're on council. We do need to make an announcement, though.
What?
Go ahead, Carl, what you doing now?
Well, let's get this out.
Hey, I know that's tearing you up.
I need to request a special meeting of the Board of Works on August the 7th at 5 o'clock for an unsafe building hearing.
Oh,
Okay,
I got it.
When was it?
August the 7th
August 7th.
at 5 o'clock at Board of Works on an unsafe building hearing. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
5:30? 5 or 5:30?
5.
Anything else, Carl?
No, sir, that'll take care of me for tonight.
Well, I don't have to do your council meeting.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay. New business, D. Abbott. Is D. Abbott here?
She's not here now.
Okay. Jackie Sett, statement of work.
Oh. Wait a minute. Hold on. In your packets, and I'm not sure where I put mine now, we have a company that wants to come in and they can almost guarantee us that they can save us, there it is, 15% on our cell phone bills, and I need you guys to say yes or no. It's a telecommunications wireless optimization service. And one of our people talked, they went to a IT thing and came back with this. And I've talked to them, I've read this, but Leslie, you've read it, right?
Yeah.
But-
And John was okay with it,
Yeah.
using that software, correct?
I didn't ask. I'll have to check that
Okay,
tomorrow.
that was the only thing.
Yeah, that was the question. I haven't seen him.
Are you still looking at doing a stipend or something too?
I don't know. We need to look at something.
Well, we gotta cut it, yeah.
We gotta do
Cut the
something.
cost.
I don't know what the answer is.
My understanding is that they'll go through our current service
Yeah.
and see.
If we're
Yeah.
paying too much where we're, well, you know what we're doing. We'll have a,
breakdown of all the service.
I've had someone look at these and there's a lot of stuff going on in the cell phone bills.
Up to the board, what's the board's pleasure?
Does the board want me to have this company come in and do it?
I would so move they do and
Well, it's
pass it on to council.
Huh?
it's a 2-year commitment, correct?
I don't know. I didn't read that. Is it, Leslie?
Yes.
Okay.
John said he's okay with this?
So does that mean, he was, yeah. Does that mean then that we can't make any changes in our cell phone stuff for 2 years?
Well-
No, because that would be Verizon, correct?
Well, it's Verizon and Sprint. We have two
No,
cell phone companies.
This agreement is just for them to come in, from what I what I understand, is them to come in and to basically
Go
audit.
through our bills and
Yeah,
stuff, yeah.
audit our current,
Yeah.
Only thing I was saying, Les, it's a 2-year commitment, though.
yes, it is.
So
So-
they
If
went
they're just
with,
gonna come in and audit, then, or check everything out, why would it be a 2-year commitment? Wouldn't it just,
That's a good question.
that's the part that I didn't
Shooting
understand.
hard.
This wasn't my idea, so I don't know. They sent it to me, and I'm sure they're sitting back somewhere wondering why I haven't said it's okay.
let's see if you can do it for 1 year.
Okay.
Can the board members, can we kind of get with John and talk to him?
That's what I wanted to do, too.
And then, you
Come
know,
back.
get our questions out to
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
and pick his brain?
Yeah, table.
Yeah.
You want to table till you get to talk to John?
I'd so move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Who made the motion, Mario?
Mario?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Myself, purchase orders. They put a spreadsheet in there, in your packets. Suzanne has the POs, if you have any questions about them. Need a motion to approve.
I would so move.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it. Appointment redevelopment commission, I'll bring it up, council. Old business. Hearing none, review and discuss claims board approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Motion adjourned.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Utility board, 5 minutes.
So, yeah, that doesn't even really make sense why it's 2 years, I don't know. No, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, that's great. It's wonderful. That's how it should be done. I know. It's great. I guess, like on a yearly basis, they can come in. I just need to see how often they come in. That's what I was thinking. Okay.
I'm not there.
What time is it?
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Who knows, we might get it before dark. Don't count on it.
Well, speed it along, speed it along.
Well, on parks, they cut back on. We got to cut, everyone we cut.
I didn't know, because some people were telling me, so I didn't know who the right person to call was, so I just wanted to get it all straight.
There's some upstairs.
They need to pick up police down there, 2 lines probably. They used to. I'll talk to them about that. They're gonna drag the fields themselves. Oh, she don't know. Hey, we gotta cut 20 weeks up. Of course, you have to come too.
Yeah.
Well, if we're giving them the equipment to do it, I don't know.
Well, they used to.
I know the coaches on each one of our teams have to just go out and do the chalk. They don't have a problem doing it
Yeah,
before
they
games.
said they do the chalk and racing, but they thought the parks was gonna do the dragging.
Lions Club used to do all of it. Parks started going in and doing it without asking. Y'all picking it up?
Yeah.
So Lions Club will go ahead.
Yeah.
Once I got
They're
involved with it,
taking some of their.
I went in there and done the inspections. See, now, I got them in-house, we can do them. But it took me about, it took 6 months.
Better get the job done.
You can't waste time here.
It's 7-9.
I know.
I'm gonna watch it too. Along with other people.
It's gone.
Well, then we'll
This quarter, they brought it down.
Now, you talking about homestead's gone?
Next quarter.
Tractors are in there. Heating. And put utilities, and I'm like.
Yeah, thank you.
I was impressed.
Any place up there that's level right now, other than on the,
Everybody ready?
Whenever.
He's one up down there at night pulling that one. Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
No, you ready?
Not ready? Been ready.
I
was curious on the shape.
You ready? You guys ready? You guys ready? I agree. Call utility board meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Member Jane Pope? Present. Member Aaron Cook?
Here.
Member Bill Bruin?
Here.
Bill Bruner, I'm sorry. Member Mike Lawrence? Here. Member J.R. Holcraft?
Here.
Attorney Leslie Votaw?
Here.
Utility Director Mel Davis?
Here.
President Dennis Carr?
Here.
And myself.
Any announcements? Yes, I'm moving June 16th meeting to the June 23rd.
June 23rd.
Okay, approved minutes, previous meeting.
I'll move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against? Committee reports?
Thank you, Your Honor. Just one thing on the committee reports this evening. The sewer force main that we've been trying to get our core permit on, the permit finally came through. The construction on that is due to start around the middle of June, the finish of the construction. And that's the part across the levee and under the railroad tracks. That's it, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mel. New business, Leslie Votaw, Utility Director contract.
Your Honor, I believe, because we didn't have the work session.
Table it.
Make a motion to table it.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Amendment to Ordinance 5, Chapter 52 and 53.
In your packets, which obviously has to go in front of council to be voted on, but we did go ahead and put it on the utility board agenda with any questions. I believe Mr. Davis also did pass out what we weren't able to get before the deadline on Thursday for the electric. But I know I changed this. I don't know why it says 51 at the top there. Should be 52 and 53. It's amend chapter 52 and 53.
52 and 53.
52 is the sewer chapter and 53 is the water chapter. 52, the beginning is a little confusing because it says water usage schedule, but that does pertain to the sewage rates. I went ahead and put in, show you what our current ordinance says, and it's a lot more wording than needed, so I kind of changed those up a little bit, but you have the meter rate per 1,000 gallons, and then I did leave it blank for 15 and 16, and then the minimum metered monthly charges for use. But I do believe, and then these are the numbers that they would be, so
Are these current rates or increase?
those are the increase rates for 14.
At what percent?
Well, it's different because it's like I tried to explain, under the quantity of water used per month, previously we're going under first 2,000 gallons and then over 2,000 gallons, so there are actually two different rates. But now it's just per 1,000 gallons is 446. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm John Scomp from Crowell-Wath, and we prepared the rates for both the sewer and the water. The sewer was a cost of service study. I know we had a working group session where we passed out the reports and everything. It's a 2% overall increase in revenues for the utilities, or for the sewage works, but as we showed on the rate schedules, the percentage increase for each customer will depend on how much water they used that then is used to calculate the sewer bill. And what we had shown is for someone who uses minimal usage, it will actually be a decrease in a residential bill. Because of as was mentioned earlier, we had the two rate blocks before with a minimum. Now we just have a base charge with usage on top of that. So for example, someone just using 1,000 gallon, their bill would go from $12.74 down to $7.71. But that would, someone using more usage, for example, 5,000 gallons, an average customer using 5,000 gallons, their bill would pretty much stay the same. It'd be a 15-cent decrease in their bill. But for larger users, it would go up slightly. Overall, the utility has a 2% increase, but we actually did a cost of service study so that we could try to align who's paying the bills with who's causing the cost to make sure that the costs are being recovered from the individuals causing the cost. So for residential customers, average customers on down to the smaller customers will generally see a decrease in their bill. Larger users would see a slight increase to where the utility overall would have a 2% increase in the sewer revenue. So.
And then there is a difference between, rural and non-rural.
Right.
For unmetered monthly user rate, and that rate went down as well, correct?
Yes, we kept the same differential between inside and outside city customers, between the rural and suburban customers. We kept that percentage differential the same, but as you mentioned, the flat rate bill did go down for both.
So sewage increase is 2%?
The overall increase in revenue for the sewage utility in total is 2%, yes.
How about, can you explain what this public fire protection, private fire protection, annual sprinkler charge?
On the water utility portion of it? Yeah, basically, those are charges that you currently have, and we've just continuing those. The water utility also had a cost of service study, but we generally kept all the rate blocks except for the lowest cost rate block, which was too much below our cost of producing water, so we dropped the lowest block. All those other ones, we raised 18% across the board. The annual fire protection, annual hydrant charge, that is what the city pays on,
Mr. Scomp, I don't want to correct you. I know it's still in the ordinance, but I've gone back before I was here, and apparently it was taken out, but not removed from the ordinance. I can't find anywhere where we build it. Now, the private fire protection, Mr. Lawrence, would be like if we had an industrial park and someone wanted a hydrant, they would pay that amount unless it was scheduled to be there in the first place.
Is that a one-time charge, or?
It's an annual.
Annual.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question.
Well, let me.
Maybe you're right, maybe, I did not put the word annual in here, so maybe.
It's still listed in the ordinance, but it isn't billed to the city, so.
Yeah, but I didn't put per annum, maybe I should.
Mel, if I go back, I don't, I don't want to fuss with you on this.
That's all right.
But I will.
Okay.
Real quick, first.
If I go back to page 3, we actually show that for the last few years, we've been bringing in public fire protection revenue.
That is.
And it was based on the number of hydrants.
Yeah, that's the part of the MDF subsidy that we get from the city.
Okay, so it is being paid,
Yeah.
it's just being paid with the, okay.
MDF subsidy.
So we have actually then, if you go to page 7 of our report, assume that subsidy will stay in place going forward then, based on that charge. So we're still using that charge to calculate some revenue we're bringing in, so,
So
okay.
how about this public fire protection?
That's the one we're,
95.
That's the one he just talked about.
that was the one we're talking about.
Yeah, but by this, is it still coming through MDF, or would it go,
It's coming, right now, it's coming through the
Right now.
MDF.
but say if it wasn't?
Afterwards, it'll come through the city if it stays in place.
But who pays that? How do they pay it?
There's 2 ways you can pay it. Generally, you can have a charge to the city, which Mel's saying what's happened before is that this public fire protection is based on the number of hydrants times this rate, and then the city would normally pay that. Now, there is, by statute, you can elect to have that paid by the customers, and the statute's very specific that you would set up a charge whereby, based on the equivalent 5/8" meter size, the customers could pay that. I think what Mr. Davis is talking about is in lieu of having the customers pay it, you've had the fund.
Right, I know what he's saying,
Yeah.
but if it changed, do you take this 81195 times ever how many hydrants are in the city,
Yes, sir.
and then divide that up between all the property owners?
Well, if you bill it to the property owners, yes. Otherwise, it's a straight bill to the city part of the function.
Well, glad you did bring that up, Mike. I do need to put annual on that, on those two sections, which is the, I believe, the fourth page.
And to answer your question on the other two, the private fire hydrants is if a business has asked for a hydrant to be put out front, they pay for that. The sprinkler systems are for the charges where the sprinklers come into a dedicated line going into a building for a sprinkler system.
And that's each customer that has a sprinkler system pays that charge.
Okay, if I'm understanding correctly, the water usage schedule for sewage 52.101, 2% increase?
On the sewage is a 2% overall increase, yes.
Okay. What is the increase for the water?
After we eliminate the top rate block, it's an 18% increase.
18% increase on our water, which is what I stated at the last utility meeting. And I also don't see any electric upcharges in this ordinance. This is
No.
just water and sewage?
Yes, but we didn't have those, like I said, before the deadline on Thursday, so.
Okay, so we're looking at 2% on sewage, 18% on water. The more water you use, the more sewage you'll use, so the more your sewage bill's gonna go up. And I think we should hold off on this. I know Mr. Davis did give me his budget as of July 31st, 2013. I think before we make any decisions on rate increases to our citizens, we should see what we'll have and what's going to be up for 2015 when we make out our budget to see if we can continue to fund some NDF into the utility department.
Ms. Pope, I'm leaving those budgetary decisions, trying to leave them to the new utility director's discretion, because I'm leaving at the end of August. And I don't think it's fair to set a budget by me and have him be stuck with it. He might have different ideas than I do.
That's okay. That's good too, Mel, because then he can submit a different budget and we can go by his and make it comparable to yours. And see, you know, where we're down and where we're up, because we are down on a lot of our capital projects.
Well, Ms. Pope, the capital, that's what I was explaining in the last meeting we had. The capital projects come from the MDF riverboat. Now, I've been asked to get the utilities, to quit the subsidy for the utilities from MDF riverboat. And that's what we've tried to put together. Now, the new utility director might have different ideas about projects than I do. So, but this reflects us being off of the MDF subsidy and riverboat subsidy. So,
Mel, can you tell me on the water, for the first 2,000 gallons, 3,000, 10,000, and 15, can you tell me what our current rates are?
I have to go back and get the.
I have it.
I can.
You have it? Les? I don't.
Do you have the report we passed out before?
I don't have it with me.
Okay, I can give that to you. That was on,
Which one did you want?
Which one?
I was just gonna write down for each underwater, for the 2,000 gallons, the next 3,000, the next 10, and over 15.
What they are now.
It actually broke it down a little differently, his analysis. It went first 2,000, next 3,000, next 10,000, over 15,000. But the first 2,000 was 574 and 13. And then the next 3,000 was $3.85.
Which page you on? Did you
page
show?
11 of the report, the water report.
The next 10,000 gallons was at 351 and 13. And then it's not really comparable because it talks about next 10 and then.
So really, who's really gonna see a raise is gonna be business.
The
More or
larger
less.
users.
There's like 5 or 6 very large users.
And only, when I say business ones, it's large users.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it looks like to me it's 574 for first 2,000 gallons and 678. I mean, that's almost $1 compared to the other ones. It's
If you go to page 13 of the report, your low-end users, for example, someone who didn't have any usage all the way up to 2,000 gallons, they currently pay $11.74. They would go up to $13.56, $2.09 increase per month.
I see.
Now, an average user of 5,000 gallons would see a little over a $4 increase in their bill for the water rates. But then the water rate then would be just a little over $27 per month for 5,000 gallons of usage, which is still pretty low in the state of Indiana, and one of the reasons you don't have any debt on your books, and we're just funding capital depreciation expense, so we're not, we still have a very low rate for 5,000 gallons of usage, but we've listed out, if you go to page 13 of the report on the water side, you'll see the typical bill analysis for a residential customer there and how they would increase, so. And like I said, if you went with the water and the sewer both, your lower users are actually going to see a decrease in their total water sewer bill because of the readjustment of the sewer. Now, on the average customer would see about a $4 increase because of the.
Just for what it's worth, if I could say a few things. I know back in, I think it was '08, we did a rate increase over a 4-year period.
2010, yeah.
And the rates hadn't been increased in a long, long time.
Yeah.
And you have to, it's better to raise in small increments than in bigger increments, because if we continue to delay, I know as a resident, in 5 years, I don't want to pay, instead of 18%, let's just go ahead and, let's quadruple that or triple it. So I think to be responsible about it, we have to start raising rates, whether it's 2%, 5%, whatever. But 18% on our rates, which are very low, comes out to be $4 and some change over a month.
Yeah.
That's pretty reasonable. I know 18% sounds high, but considering that our rates are so low, it's not as drastic as it seems. But we just can't continue to wait around and wait another 10 years to raise our rates. You have to be responsible about it.
And as you mentioned, back in 2010, because we'd waited so long, there was some pretty larger percentages, and so we actually worked with the 3 utilities to stagger out the increases to try to make it as manageable as possible, because we had waited so long. And, to the extent you could wait that long, because you can have other funds coming in to support that, that's one thing, but when you need those funds for something else, they're not going to be there if you continue to put them into operating expenses for utilities, so.
I got a question about 2010. I reviewed your DVD, and I was hoping to play that tonight for the public, and couldn't get it to work. But anyway, in 2010, you said the overall effect on customers was 8%. But you said the actual was 65%.
Now you're talking about the electric utility.
Yeah, I'm talking about electric.
Right. In electric, what had happened is, because the increase had waited so long to be put into place, we had a tracking factor, or an FAC, and we also had our rates. And because it had been so long, the tracking factor was almost equivalent to the rates at some point. It was getting that high. And so what happened is, when we zeroed out the tracking factor, you actually did a 65% increase in your rates, eliminated the tracking factor, which only made about an 8% difference to the customers in their bill. So when you zeroed out one part of the bill and upped the other one by 65%, you only increased their total amount they were paying by 8%, and it was kind of confusing.
It was always within the bill to begin with.
Both parts were within the bill, yes.
It was at that point in time, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it called a surcharge?
I'm not sure what it was called on the bill,
But it was always on our bill, and then I was told that eventually that surcharge would be deleted, which it was, but it factored right back into our rates. And it sounds good for you to tell the public that their utilities only went up 8%, but I know my bill jumped big time,
Well,
1.5 times.
the reason I said it went up by 8%, because that was the
And then you
facts
go
of
back
it.
to 65% because we were paying that all along anyway.
No, that's not true. The one part of the bill, the rates went up 65%, the other part of the bill went away, and it netted out to an 8% increase in the bill. And the reason I said that is because it was true. And what was always intended, though, was for that other part of the bill, the tracking factor, the FAC, the surcharge, whatever you want to call it, it was supposed to start tracking the electric bill now at the new base rate, and it was supposed to be put back on the bill the next quarter, but at a very small amount. It was not going to jump the bill up by 65%. And that's one of the things we're talking about now is if we were talking about the electric, we do need a 19% increase in the electric, those rates, because we don't have a tracking factor. Because that part was eliminated, and then when I came back to council later to talk about putting it back on, the council said, no, do not put it back on. And so we have just, as IMPA's charges have increased, we haven't been able to keep up with that. What we're asking for on the electric side is to come back in and reestablish the tracker and raise the rates to where they need to be to keep up with where we're at.
In order to do that, you need to raise the rates to 19%, correct?
We need to increase revenues by 19%, and you can either do that by taking the current rates and charges by 19%, or you can reestablish the tracking factor and raise the rates by 6.5%. That's what
Which will equal out to 19%.
Which overall would equate to a 19% increase in revenue. Again, that would have different effects on customers depending on whether they have more of a demand charge or more of a consumption charge, but.
But Mr. Scomp, isn't it hard to put a hard number to that because the tracker tends to go up and down to fluctuate?
Yeah, it will. Well, as our power bill goes up and down, that tracking factor will go up and down. So, without the ability to have that tracking factor, IMPA has given us an estimate of what they believe the purchase power will be, and we need to increase rates overall by 19% to try to make sure we can meet that estimate. So.
The way I'd like to restructure the billing, so it shows on the bill.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a rate, whatever that might be.
Mm-hmm.
Next line item would be the tracker,
Mm-hmm.
so people can keep track of that.
Yep.
Okay. So in that scenario, if you had the tracker, you would have a 6.5% increase on
Mm-hmm.
on the base rates.
On the base. That's what we were doing before the last increases.
Right.
But what had happened is it had been so long since we had a rate increase and reestablished the base that the tracker was tracking a number from so many years ago that it had become a pretty high number itself. So, and if you go back to the last report, you can see what I showed there is the 65 and the 8%. I showed all the math and how it worked out on that, and I showed customer bills at each level to show how they would see the 8% increase in their bill, so.
Thank you. You definitely explain it a lot better than I can.
You need this one?
No, you're.
Mike, do you need to keep this?
No, he let me have it, but I got that one at home, I just didn't bring it tonight.
Garrett Kavanaugh, I'm with the Lawrenceburg Utilities, just an employee. But thinking about the $27 increase or total of what our water bill would be. Now, when we were back in school to get our water license, this was back in '06, we went out to Versailles out there and a guy that worked the Seymour Water District, and they were privately owned. All right, the municipality didn't own them any longer. So they sold them out to a private firm that was doing it for profit. One of the instances he gave us was a scenario of a new community was being built down around Evansville, and they forced all of them to have a 1-inch meter versus the other regular 5/8 for residential, and wanted to know why. Of course, all of us looked at each other just bewildered. Thought, well, maybe, it's an upscale subdivision, so maybe they're using more water for flowers or washing their cars or whatever. And he's like, no, seriously, think about this. Well, when we couldn't come up with an answer, he told us that they could charge $35 a month for the 1-inch meter. Now that's without any usage whatsoever going through the meter. So their bill started off at $35, and then you would add that on top of it. So I guess my point here is, most places around the state here are paying a whole lot more for these utilities, and if we don't get, the rates up to where they need to be to make the utility profitable or break even, there's a chance that, you get this private people coming in looking at us, and then what's our rates going to go up to? That's just a point that we got, like say, that we learned in school, and then when he asked our rates and we told him, he thought we was crazy. We had to come back and actually get a printout and tell him what, we charge, what our monthly minimums were, So I just, a little food for thought that, like I say, most other communities charge different and more expensive ways than what we do already. That's all I got.
Thank you. Pat?
Just so you understand clearly, my remarks have absolutely nothing to do with Main Street. This is a perspective that I have from being on council about 20 years ago. And also, I want you to know we pay utilities down here too, so I don't look forward to any rate increases. But at the time I was on council, I was told proudly, we have not raised our rates in, 10, 12 years. And everybody was really proud of that. And then I started seeing all these claims come across my desk. What's this? What's this? I quickly found out what we were doing was patching the patches. We had no money to repair the utilities the way they should have been repaired. Everything under the ground, everything was literally crumbling. You talk about a feeling of being overwhelmed when you know what's going on in your city and you can see absolutely no way, no clear way that you're ever going to get the money to do what needs to be done. I had a gentleman from the state come down. He was evaluating our water plant that actually leaked through the roof, and he flat told me, and it shocked me, he said, "You all have been lying to your ratepayers." I said, "What do you mean we've been lying?" He said, "When you publish a rate, you say that for this rate, we can provide you utilities today, and for this rate, we're also assuring you that you are going to have utilities into the future." You lied, he said, because you were not doing that. Probably one of the reasons we pursued gaming was because we knew we had absolutely no way to do everything that needed to be done in this town. Okay, so we pursued gaming, we got all our utilities fixed. Now what are we going to do? Are we going to fall back into that? If you don't slowly raise those utilities, what's going to happen as those revenues diminish? Pretty soon you're not going to be able to subsidize the utilities. So what are you going to do then? Spike the rates up? Talk about cruel. to utility director, to utility users, to all of a sudden have to spike it up. I think Aurora faced that a few years ago with their sewers, didn't they? And I think you all came in as saviors and helped them out. Okay, so what's your alternative going to be? Spike it up or start saying, well, you know, we'll make do with this. We'll start patching the patches. And pretty soon, where are you going to be? Where we were 20-some years ago? Where you can't afford to do what needs to be done? We had one savior, folks. I don't know that Lawrenceburg's going to get another savior to come in and save the day. So if you all do not fix these, keep the utilities functional and charge rates that are really, I mean, we still have wonderful rates here. But if you don't keep that up, honestly, I think you're letting your utility users down. Just wanted to give you that perspective.
Thanks, Pat. Any more from the board?
I have one thing.
Go ahead.
I believe without a doubt, there's going to have to be an increase. But what I think that we owe to our users is to wait until after budget time and show them that we made every possible cut we can make within our budget before we raise their rates. Because how is it fair to them that we have some ungodful budget, but we're turning around raising their rates? That's just my 2 cents.
Any more from the board? What's the board want to do?
I would like to table this until after we do our next budget.
How close is the budget?
We'll have it in probably.
I don't know, it doesn't have to be formally adopted until November. But it can be done before that.
We're working on it now.
July, right? Isn't July like?
Well, the formal adoption is the end of October, end of October. But we're working, the mayor and I are working on it now.
When will it be presented to council?
When we get it done.
If I could tell you that, I could tell you lots of things, Jane. I don't know. We haven't done that much work on it.
We're cutting.
I can
Civil
make,
city part of it, we're cutting pretty good.
if I can make one comment about the budget. If you go through the report, as I mentioned last time in our working group session, we have a schedule in each one of those, except for the water, which I sent after the fact, which shows every line item of the budget. And it shows the salaries and wages, the materials and supplies, the station equipment. It shows every line item in there, and it shows how we projected those going forward. So we've actually shown a budget in each one of these reports.
Does it show everything that's coming out of Riverboat or MDF?
We have put these together so that,
I could
go
answer
ahead.
that, John. What we did, Mike, was we took all the subsidies out of Riverboat MDF and applied them to the utility so we could come up with a true rate. That's what that budget.
So it does show it in this budget? Okay.
So so at each one of the reports has the budget in it that these rates are being set on. And, I mean, I think we're welcome to you going through and looking at each line item and telling us where to cut if that's what you want to do. But I don't, from my perspective, there's no reason to wait for budget time because we've already got detailed budgets in each one of these reports already outlined, showing how we arrived at these. So if you have questions about those budgets, we'd be happy to answer them. But like I said, I know the water we sent right back after the last meeting, we passed that one around, so electric, water, and sewer, the detailed budgets are all in these reports, so.
Our budgets within the utilities, the state does not require those to be filed with the state. So that's what we've got.
Any more from the board?
And I forget what
Mike's
page
got a
they're on in
motion,
the
didn't he?
report.
To table it until after budgets are done.
Okay, let Bill speak, then we'll go back. to
I'm
him.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Just one thing, last budget, if I recall, our budget was cut like 31%. 31%. And at the end of our budgeting meetings, it was back up to,
33, I believe. Went back to 33.
so it went up. So, and, you know, all of us sit in that meeting and picked out what we wanted, you know, what we didn't, and So to sit here and say, let's wait to see what the cuts are going to be made, I think that's kind of a false pretense, because it was cut last time and it was all stacked back on. So, and with the work that John and Mel have done, this is the budget. And as far as I'm concerned, we're not subsidized out of the budget, the Riverboat MDF, and that's huge. That's what we want to do. That's what we need to do, and be responsible.
Well, actually, when the budget was passed, it was $22 million more than projected revenue. I think when true-up money came in, it was about $11 million less. So there you're at $33 million more than revenue. And everybody did not vote yes on that.
But all that
And
budget,
I wanted to make a comment too,
that
Mr.
budget did not
Bruner.
get spent, all of it either.
I worked with you guys on that budget. I agree with some things. I disagree with a lot of things, but I had to vote no in the end against the budget too, because we did have it down and it went back up.
Well, if I could make a comment, what you'll see reflected in whenever you put the new budget together for MDF and Riverboat, is a reduction in the request due to the utilities backing their stuff out.
It puts utilities on sound ground and runs like a business.
Yes.
That's the way it should.
One thing, the one thing that I was hoping for out of last year's budget was that we would actually have a budget, and it was to actually put back the $8 million that was taken out of our coffers, which was parks and building maintenance. We got those put back in there. And if I remember right, Ms. Pope, you did a lot of talking as far as adding money. Everyone up here did. So, and then to vote no for it, that's
I added money, I'll
false
agree with you,
advertising.
but I also decreased line items too.
But we ended up here, you know? I mean, we all did. And with all the input that everyone put into it, and you did have a lot of input, Ms. Pope, but we ended up here. We didn't end up at the 31% that was initially brought to us.
And 8 million of it went back into non-reverting, which was meant to be done at the very beginning.
Right, that you voted no for.
No, because I didn't agree with some of the other line items.
Well, that was civil city budget. I think we're talking about utility budget here too.
We're just putting it, the thing was is to get it back in the coffers,
We're talking
back
about
into savings.
MDF and Riverboat.
Right, to put it back into the savings where it was initially.
Correct.
So, but again, you know, it passed 32, but all the input that was put in by everyone, and for you guys to vote no, I think, you know, that's kind of, it's false advertisement.
I believe I spoke up for more money on one thing, and that was to put the schools back where they was. You're right.
I think you also voted no to put 8 million back into the coffers for savings for the future.
Yep, probably did.
Okay, any more?
That's all I have. Got a motion.
We got a motion, Mike, need a second?
Made a motion to table it.
What's the motion?
To table the, to doing anything with increasing the rates until after the budgets are done.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Aye.
Okay, wait a
Roll
minute.
call.
Okay. Jane,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Bill,
No.
Mike. Okay, and JR. Okay, it still passes. Wait a minute, yeah, there's three to two.
Okay.
Oh, we're gonna have to take the same. We're in utility, right? So we're
Whether, when,
gonna have to take that
I know
same
there's not
vote of council.
a exact, I know there's no exact date for the budget, but maybe sometime in July, get like a draft or something.
We're hoping to have it ready by then.
Okay.
Mayor, I'd like to make a comment on the minutes. And Mr. Mario Todd brought that to my attention after the last utility board meeting was closed out. When we actually voted, we only voted on the work session. And Mike Lawrence and J.R. Holcraft abstained. And the work session that we discussed was the one about the utility rate increase. So I don't know if we formally, Leslie it was brought to her attention, I don't know if we need to formally go back and approve the minutes from the month prior, because this is, the roll call vote on this utility board thing right here is wrong because Mike and JR did abstain.
Same as
because they weren't at that meeting,
Just
that
from the
work
work session.
session.
From the work session, yeah.
So we
But
didn't
you're
take
right,
a
it
vote
doesn't
on the
state
regular
anything
meeting.
in here. It doesn't say in our current minutes. Did you see is that what you mean, Jane? That we didn't have minutes for the work session?
We
Or that they
did vote
abstained?
on the work session
didn't
minutes,
vote-
but we didn't actually vote on the utility minutes.
Your regular
And
schedule.
From the regular meeting.
I see what you're saying.
And I also don't think we voted on the work session for the personnel either, the minutes for that. So this roll call needs to be corrected for work session for utility rates, and then we may need to, it's up to you, Mrs. Votal, whether we vote for the regular utility board minutes and the utility work session on personnel.
Well, I think as far as the utility board that are included in your packet was the utility board and not the work session. Correct? I mean, that's what I'm
No,
looking at right
because I
now.
would have voted yes on the regular utility minutes. I voted no on the work session minutes.
So we just need to listen to see which ones we were actually approving, correct?
Well, I believe we
That
were
right?
approving the work session.
It was a work session, that's why I'm staying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll just have to go, Becky, we'll just have to go back and listen and
Yeah,
see.
we can.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, review, discuss claims, board approval. Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion adjourned.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Okay. Member Jane Pope.
Present.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Bill Bruner.
Here.
Member Mike Lawrence.
Here.
Member J.R. Holcraft.
Here.
Assistant Police Chief Mike Lanning. Fire Chief John Tremaine.
Here.
EMS Director Bobby Mills. Attorney Leslie Votaw.
Here.
Utility Director Mel Davis. Mayor Dennis Carr.
Here.
And myself.
Any announcements?
Yeah, I just want to see what the status was in the recycling. I know we talked about 2 months, maybe a few weeks ago. I didn't know if that's moved up now, or...
Mike, you getting the, Brad has the totes quotes, they're getting ready to bring them to the board?
Brad was gonna get back with me because they were looking at different codes, and we just haven't.
They'll be brought to the Board of Works,
We'll
hopefully
try
next,
that.
we'll try next meeting, if he's got all the quotes
Have it
ready.
ready for the next meeting.
But what about the trailer?
But we were waiting because of the totes have to match the trailer
Right.
to get it spec'd out. I know Brad's been tied up going in different directions with.
We'll see if we can get them ready for next meeting.
Okay, and then, at a prior meeting, we also discussed the well cisterns, getting them filled, but, Jane thought it might be illegal, so I wanted to see if Leslie looked into that or not.
As far as the public, I know I have not had a chance to look at that.
Okay.
But as far as the public monies,
Yeah, filling them for safety reasons.
yeah, I did see that when I looked at my notes this morning, and I hadn't had a chance. State Board of Accounts is who I need to ask on that, but I will do so.
Okay,
Sorry
and
about that.
this might have been a question for Grant, but I just wanted to bring it up, see if I can find information. A lot of people are asking about the Dollar General store, moving to a different area. Does anybody know anything about what's going on with that?
We're working with him, but we can't speak too much because it's confidential right now. We're working with Dollar General. we are.
Because some of the people from the city are telling people certain parking lots and this and that, and I don't know if tell them that's true or not. I don't know.
Well, we're working about a different location.
Okay.
That's all I can tell you right now.
Okay. And that was all on that.
Okay, announcements. I got the council meeting. I'll move from the June 16th to June 23rd. Okay, approved minutes previous meeting.
So move.
Second.
Wait a minute, Your Honor, I do think we did have the, was it the resolution, Suzanne, that was the wrong number?
Yeah, I didn't bring it with me, but yeah.
Well, let me see here. Had all those grants last time, sorry. Look here. I think instead of 4, it should be 7. Is that what you remember?
7 or 8.
What page is that on, Leslie?
Let's see here. We were talking about the ordinance.
It was typed correctly, it just was,
Oh, okay.
I mean, in terms of what we knew at the time, it was typed correctly. When we went back to the office.
We figured out that it was the wrong number. Just so the board knows that we did change, I think it was ordinance 5. It's either 4 or 5. Those should be moved up because they were actually the ordinance numbers. We didn't have the correct ordinance numbers, so I just wanted to let. Now, these new minutes do reflect the right ones or not?
No.
Okay. I'll bring that note back over to you then, and we can correct these minutes. Thank you.
What page are those ordinances on?
Resolutions.
Last couple pages, I believe. Old and unfinished business. 5, 2014, and 6, 2014. We just need to put the right ordinance numbers in there.
Okay.
So is ordinance 5, 214, what should it be corrected to?
We believe it'd be 7 and 8 from 5 and 6.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, need approved minutes previous meeting with the corrections. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Committee reports. Streets, alley, and curbs, Aaron Cook.
Just one thing, I've had a few people contact me about, at the end of High Street where it goes around by I&M over there, about cars flying through there, and some of the residents would like to see if they could get a children at play sign around the Historical Society building, right area through there.
Mike, I'll look into that.
And that's all, Your Honor.
Finance, J.R. Holcraft.
Report's in the packet.
Water Department, Bill Brenner.
No report, but, Mayor, real quick if I could. I noticed today when I was driving in, there's a sign down at Arch and Center.
Yeah, I turned that in today.
One Arch and Tate too, there's one down Arch and Tate they're fixing too.
Arch and Tate's one I turned.
Maybe that's the one.
Arch and Tate, they was doing that this afternoon. Any more, Bill?
No report. Thanks.
Police Department.
No report, Mayor.
Fire Chief.
Nothing for, more than, everybody should have a copy of the May, run totals in front of you. If you don't, then I got a spare.
EMS. Building Department have any more? Okay. New business, Lions Club request for sponsorship for All-Stars.
They couldn't be here tonight, so they called me. This is the same team that they're gonna do the Lawrenceburg, team, All-Stars team's gonna do the car wash for, but it takes a lot of money to do it. They said last year the city, donated $1,000, but they know the revenue's down, so, they were wondering if they could get a $500 sponsorship. It's not a select team, it's the regular Lawrenceburg All-Star team.
Anything, board?
If there's no, I mean, I'll make a motion to sponsor the Lawrenceburg All-Star Team for $500 if there's money in city marketing.
Can't come out of city marketing.
The only thing left in council?
I don't know, I don't have it with me. I forgot to bring that tonight, sorry.
Probably 500.
There should be some.
should be.
What are you looking for?
What's left in council donations?
I know there's some.
Yeah.
Why can't it come out of city marketing?
That department head.
13,000.
Oh, okay, there's plenty of money.
Is that correct, Leslie? Council can't spend city marketing?
We've looked into that. We haven't got a direct answer on that. From what I understand, the marketing, budget would be under the marketing director. I mean, it makes sense, so I don't know.
How was their marketing budget prior to a marketing director being spent then?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, that's
what we always use the money for.
Then maybe you're using it right.
Well, I just want to make sure that
No,
you're
don't
being
make it
right.
right.
Well, we'll make sure, let's
So,
look into it.
Who's
You
right?
got donations in council, so just want to.
I'll make a motion to sponsor the Lawrenceburg All-Star Team for $500 out of city marketing, and if that is not legal, to take it out of the city council.
And if it's not
Second.
legal, could we get that in writing, what you're relying on, please?
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jane,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Bill,
No.
Mike,
Yes.
JR.
No.
Okay, still 3 yeses.
Okay. Charles Evans, merit raises. Only Chuck's
He
here.
said he didn't need to be here.
All right. Mike Lawrence, forensic accountant.
I'm gonna ask to table that to a later date after our meeting the other day.
Okay. Myself, appointment of redevelopment commission, JR resigned. I'm going to appoint Tony Abbott to the redevelopment commission on my behalf. Council has to look into putting one on the planning commission too. I think you said it has to be a Democrat.
But he was JR was
My-
council's,
Yeah,
was council's for planning commission, is that correct?
Council's on planning.
Yeah,
This was mine on redevelopment.
redevelopment.
Leslie, amendment to ordinance 5, chapter 52 and 53.
Can we go ahead and,
I want to go ahead
can
and
we
make
go
a
ahead and
nom-
make a motion for planning, since we got a
Oh, go
meeting?
ahead. Go ahead.
I'll make a motion, Aaron Cook.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it. You got your new one, Mike. Back to Leslie.
This is what was, you motioned to table it, which was the amendment to the sewer and water ordinance.
Okay, it's tabled, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we need a motion because it was tabled by utility board. It would have to be tabled by council.
Need a motion?
Motion to table.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Old business, Mike Lawrence tort claims.
Leslie, did you research about the tort claims? Brought it up 2 meetings ago maybe, or?
As far as anything, as far as a tort goes, we do turn those into our insurance company. In particular, after our meeting, when you talked about it, GIE had called me and said that they were sending out a letter to deny Mr. Taylor's tort claim. Because of our insurance coverage, basically, they make those decisions to begin with. Now, if they come back and say we want to, if there's a settlement, or if we have to go to trial, or it goes, where a suit's filed and we settle after that, those are decisions that we make. And from what I understand, we can obviously pay over our insurance coverage, but I think on torts, and correct me if I'm wrong, Amy, but I think it's up to, I'm not sure. Is that $10 million that we have as far as coverage, or are you not sure on that?
I cannot verify that.
So with the letter, are they saying the city is not at fault, or the insurance company is not liable?
Right, exactly. The insurance
Which one?
company is not, they're
Okay.
saying, they're denying the claims for this, just like if you were to wreck a car,
Because here's the way I'm looking at some things. I sat through it, I heard testimony. Legislation's gonna be in first of the year, probably already talking about looking at gaming money. Is this something that we need or want going on, and talks of, as I heard testimony of things was offered to people to get somebody off of council, blah, blah, blah. Is this what the city needs? And I think everybody should take a hard thought. And also, like I said last time, we had a lawsuit that come before us, which was carried over from the previous administration that could have got settled, I think, for about $300,000 that we couldn't possibly lose. $2.25 million later, they won. And I know there's 90 days.
Don, you understand what happened with Middle Earth, though? Middle Earth was not a tort claim.
I understand that.
All of those got, basically, in the federal level, those were taken out. So that's why it came back to a jury here
But
on the
I'm-
non-tort claim.
But what I'm saying, are we sure we shouldn't talk about trying to set up something for some mediation and try to put a rest to this versus taking the chance of $3 million lawsuit?
Well, but as far as the lawsuit goes, nothing's been filed. Nothing.
I know, because right now it says tort claim that we got 90 days.
But the tort claim doesn't give you enough information, whether or not, like I said the last time, whether there's a basis in the law for what they're claiming.
Okay, I'm just trying and asking.
And it can be settled, Mike. It can be, any tort claim could be settled
I understand it.
after any type of,
I-
claim would be filed. But, when I
Just-
talked to the insurance company about what you're saying, she said, well, we would never just, we would, this is, and that's the insurance company, and I don't necessarily like insurance companies, but, working in the law. Well, I
don't
mean,
either, I agree.
I mean, even as an attorney, I don't always agree that we should, you
guys
just
don't
deny
like you.
everything, just deny everything, and then,
I don't like paying them neither. Just for the record.
I mean, I'm not always in that same vein, but at the same time, we pay the insurance company to represent us on the tort actions, and they supply the attorneys to do so. We don't.
I think what Mr. Lawrence is trying to say.
If everybody wants to go through the, whatever.
That our revenue has dropped, and from what was witnessed in the trial and the hearing, it's not looking good for the city of Lawrenceburg should they file a claim. And when it was brought to our attention with Middle Earth, when it went to mediation, the mediator, actually, Mikey was wrong on your numbers, the mediator recommended $600,000 settlement. And we voted not to because your father urged us to take it to court because there was no reason we would lose it in a courtroom. It ended up costing the citizens of Lawrenceburg $2.25 million.
But it wasn't just my dad came here. I believe Mr. Leptek and Mr. Deltz were both.
Well,
here.
that's what we were advised.
We're from
I'm not,
GIE.
But,
I mean, this is
when
our
you're looking at
insurance company that was saying.
$600,000 to $2.25 million,
I understand.
maybe we ought to think about a little mediation because we don't know what's going to happen with a jury.
That case did
Never
go
do.
through. That case did go through mediation.
To our favor,
didn't
too.
it?
And
Yeah,
if
it
you
was
notice,
recommended.
I didn't throw out any
And it went to
number.
court.
I just
Middle
asked
Earth
about
went to-
mediation.
Because we determined,
And
we
trying to-
turned down their mediation offer for $600,000. We turned it down.
My whole thing is, until compared to what's written in that tort claim and transferring that to a actual complaint in a court of law,
So, but if nothing's been filed, so you're saying that you want to go ahead and try to settle
To
something?
try to negotiate something, because I'm sure that there's gonna be a lawsuit filed. And the law says you have 90 days that you can decide to do something. Is that correct, Leslie?
yeah. The insurance company has already denied the claim.
That the insurance denied that they're not responsible.
Correct.
But the insurance company's not saying Lawrenceburg's not responsible.
Nothing's been filed yet. I mean, you're saying that, and let's look at the big, you're saying you want to settle, and needless to say, this is one of your employees, right?
He does work for me.
Okay, but you're
yes.
saying right now, let's just go ahead and settle.
No, I didn't say that. I said to mediate it.
Okay.
I didn't throw out no dollar number.
That's settle.
And you know something, because he's my employee, show me where I benefit.
Well,
Because I tell you what, I see you talk about utilities every meeting, you benefit, don't you?
Do I?
You work at the utilities,
how do I benefit, Mike?
because you work there.
Do I get raises all the time?
I don't
Do
know what you get.
Do I? Well, the
Bill,
town-
I brought something up. If
I
you didn't like
benefit-
it, that's fine.
I'm not saying I don't like it, Mike, I'm
And when
just
it
asking a
costs the city
question.
$3 million, you live
Okay.
there and
Okay,
be
Mike.
happy with it.
Okay, Mike.
Don't just sit there like a bump on the lawn.
Everything's a conspiracy.
All right. Moving on.
The other, the parks ordinance needs to come back in front of council.
Okay.
What?
Parks orders needs to come back from the council.
Alcohol.
Oh, I meant. Well, where is it?
It's the amendment that was in front of,
Okay.
amendment to ordinance Title 9 to amend Chapter 90 of Lawrenceburg Code of Ordinances.
Yeah.
I guess you guys want me to go ahead and do this? I started reading it.
Go ahead.
Really care about it, okay, but.
Whereas the Common Council of the City of Lawrenceburg has authority pursuant to its statutory and home rule powers to amend this ordinance, and whereas the Common Council now determines that amendment to the Parks and Recreation ordinance should be enacted to include provisions for bullying and profanity in our public parks, and to update the current parks ordinances, and now therefore be it ordained by the City Common Council of the City of Lawrenceburg that amendment be made to the Lawrenceburg Code of Ordinances Title 9 to Chapter 90 entitled Parks and Recreation to read as follows. Section 90.02, exceptions. A, this chapter shall not apply to the Lawrenceburg Fairgrounds and Motorcycle Track, Agner Hall and accompanying shelters, nor the parks involved in the annual Fall Fest, Lawrenceburg Fall Fest, or other festivals sanctioned by the city. B, notwithstanding Division A of this section, the consumption of alcoholic beverages in the parks listed in A shall only be permitted during and in connection with those events sanctioned by the city. C, notwithstanding Section 9001, the Parks Board or City Council can sanction the consumption of alcoholic beverages for an event at any city park. Section 90.03, bullying and profanity. A, it shall be unlawful for any person to conduct themselves in any manner that may be construed as bullying in any public park. No person shall use profanity or foul language or display profanity in any way in any public park in the city. B, the Parks Board shall post signs hereafter, including these provisions, and the Lawrenceburg Police Department shall enforce these regulations. The penalty, see Section 10.99. Ordained and passed on this second day of June 2014 at 7:35 p.m. in accordance with the applicable law of the Council of the City of Lawrenceburg, Dearborn County, Indiana.
So moved.
Need a second.
Need a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Need a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance amendment number 90?
It's the ordinance,
It would be 9, yeah.
Chapter 90.
9, okay. For title only for second time?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Amendment to ordinance Title 9 to amend Chapter 90 of Lawrenceburg Code of Ordinances.
Need a motion, approve ordinance number 9 for second reading by title only.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to suspend the rules, read ordinance number 9 by title only for third and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Amendment to ordinance Title 9 to amend Chapter 90 of the Lawrenceburg Code of Ordinances.
Motion approve ordinance number 9 for third and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, any comments from the audience?
Mayor, I'd like to make one comment before the audience comes up. I should have did it under announcements. Veterans Day, I guess a lot of people were upset because nobody from the city was involved in the Veterans Day celebration, which I was not aware of at all or had even been notified. And I would like to see maybe more participation from the city.
They don't want us involved. That's the veterans took care of that. The city wasn't no part of that.
Talking about Memorial Day?
On Memorial Day, I thought it was about the Veterans Day.
I can speak on that, Mayor, if you
Okay.
want. Usually, in the past, we've always had lots of fire apparatus involved in it. I believe it was 2011, correct me if I'm wrong, they didn't have the parade. And and then they restructured. And after that, they didn't want all the fire apparatus because they didn't want to take away from the purpose of the veterans, in memory of the veterans. And I've been hearing it, I heard it during the parade also, and we do participate with our honor guard. And, but that's been the decision of the Legion, who organizes it, so, that's why there was there was limited participation by us.
Didn't they have like cars with, I know they had one for one of the Purple, or two of the Purple Heart
Right.
recipients. Some of the World War II veterans that are still alive.
Yes.
We only have 4 over there.
They don't have any politicians in it.
No.
So that's why, they've asked for that, and we've,
So
we
have they
ask them
asked?
every year.
Have they asked for our participation, or they don't want our participation?
They don't want.
They didn't want to see all the fire, on my end, they didn't want to see all the all the fire trucks. They asked for our honor guard, and we got approval to put the, one of the bagpipers in this year, so that was.
Maybe they
all.
would have just liked to seen our faces in the crowd.
That's what they want, they want the crowd.
I was at the parade and the ceremony, and it was
Me too.
nice. There
Yeah.
were plenty of people.
But I know I had some people, actually, I was down here watching it, and the mayor was there, and a couple come up and asked where all the fire trucks were, and, I tried to explain that to them. So that's, they had just asked.
It's all in their hands, Jane. They
Yeah.
didn't want to participate in the city. Okay, anything in the audience?
From the mayor.
Hearing none. Review and discuss claims board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion adjourned.
So moved.
Second.
You didn't do all
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We'll take care of that.
Always gotta get my hug, Lee.
I'll see you tomorrow. I'll make a note for Thursday, I will too. Oh gee, I'll just hip hop myself together.
Maybe I'll see you.
That's why I asked you. That's neat. That looks good.
Everybody was good. I thought, well, do it. Like I said, I would give it to someone else, so that's just. Right. It seems a little. They'll do it in 30 days.
All right, evaluation. See you later.
Stops all the shit.
I bet that's
Radio's working. Yeah. But it plays on TV.
Oh, your bill.
Have a DVD player?
Talk to him. Give him a corn.
Seems like.
Oh, that's funny.